Hey guys, this is God of Politics. Welcome back to a brand new video, but before we get started with this video, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, join the Discord that is linked down in the description and check out the website, which is also linked down in the description. In today's video, I do want to talk about the senior vote. Donald Trump is losing the senior vote, and he's losing it by a lot. In a lot of polls, he's lost a lot of support recently among seniors. Now, first, you can see here, Biden, first of all, is up 9.4 percentage points in the RCP average, which is his highest point since around, the end of June, beginning of July, but it's his highest in terms of the raw percentage of the vote since December 9th, 2019. So, 10 months since Biden was this high in percentage of the vote. You can see he's gone from 49.4% to 51.4% in pretty much the span of about a week. So he's had a lot of very good polls that have come out in favor of him recently, and I want to look at some of these individual polls. Now, I'm going to be using the Monmouth poll in terms of the crosstabs here for an example, because number one, I don't think Biden's going to win by 9.5 percentage points in the popular vote. I think 5 points is more realistic. Two, Monmouth is a better pollster than a lot of these other pollsters that give their crosstabs. So, for example, the Economist YouGov poll often shows Biden winning independents by 20, but, tied with Hispanics. So they have very weird cross-tabulations, but Monmouth is usually a lot more consistent. Now, Monmouth has Biden plus 5, but if we look at the question, if the election for president was held today, would you vote for Donald Trump, the Republican, Joe Biden, the Democrat, Joe Jorgensen, the Libertarian, or Howie Hawkins of the Green Party? We look at the, party ID, Trump's winning independents by 2. That's pretty standard. Maybe Joe Biden could win them by a little bit more than that, or, win them. But we look at the age demographics here. We can see Joe Biden is winning voters above 65 by 12 percentage points. If we compare that to the 2016 exit polls, we can see here that Donald Trump won 65 and older senior voters by 7 percentage points. And if you look at 2018, this is not an overall trend. 2018, Republicans won them by 2 percentage points. We look at 2016, it was, Hillary Clinton won the popular vote by 2 percentage points. In 2018, Democrats won the popular vote by 8.6 percentage points. So you would think that the seniors would be more Democratic in that year, but really they were not any more Democratic in 2018 than they were in 2016. Hillary Clinton struggled with senior voters, but what is the reason that Joe Biden's doing a lot better? Well, one of it, I believe at least, is due to the coronavirus. Now, there's a lot of talk about Joe Biden doing better with seniors back in July and August when the coronavirus was peaking, when the deaths were peaking or, still going up at that time. But it did go down for a while, but now it seems to be stagnating. So maybe that is part of the reason why Joe Biden is doing better with senior voters. We look at who they trust more to handle the coronavirus. It is overwhelmingly in favor of Joe Biden, and especially amongst senior voters. So that is part of the reason I believe Joe Biden is doing a lot better amongst senior voters, and it is a very crucial demographic because, Joe Biden, you could argue, has been struggling with black voters and Hispanic voters. You can see here that amongst Hispanic, black, Asian, other, Joe Biden's only winning them 65 to 28, which is actually not that good considering the fact that it includes the black vote with that. So he should be doing better amongst minorities, but he's making up the ground by the fact that he's doing better with senior voters. And this matters in some states more than it does in other states. We look at the 2016 exit polls nationally. 65 and older voters made up 16% of the electorate, and Trump won them by 7 percentage points. We look at the state of Florida. In the state of Florida, 65 and older voters make up 21% of the electorate, and Trump won them by 17. So we look at the New York Times poll here, which did have Biden up by 5 in Florida, which I don't think is realistic, but it does show the complete Florida crosstabs from here. And we can see here that it says if the 2020 presidential election were held today, who would you vote for if the candidate were Joe Biden or Donald Trump? Obviously, we see here, the independent numbers are normal. Joe Biden winning them by 12. That is completely realistic. African Americans, Biden's only winning them 75 to 5. Hispanics, Biden's only winning them 58 to 34. If we compare that to 2016 here, we can see Hillary Clinton won them 62 to 35, and Hillary Clinton won black voters 84 to 8. So, that's definitely, he's doing a little bit worse amongst minority voters. But then we look at the age demographics here, we can see Joe Biden is winning 65 and up by 2 percentage points. And we look at 2016 2016 here, we can see that Trump won those voters by 17 percentage points. If we want to look at the Florida exit polls from 2018 and we look at the governor polls here, we can see that Ron DeSantis won 65 and older voters by 13 percentage points. So they didn't trend very much in 2018, even though the national environment trended very far towards the Democrats, and they were suddenly trending towards the Democrats in this election. What is the reason for that? Well, number one, Joe Biden's an older guy. You could maybe make the argument that he resonates more with those voters. He's also doing better with those voters because of that. But again, I propose and I think that is due to the coronavirus. If you look at the polls saying, should we reopen the economy? These polls back in, May, June, July, those polls saying should we reopen the economy? Young people were saying, yes, we should. Middle-aged people probably saying, yes, we should as well. But old voters, I believe, the numbers were about 6-1 saying we should prioritize the health of people over reopening the economy. And so that is the reason why a lot of those old voters flocked from Donald Trump and the Republicans, who, old voters are a pretty strong base for the Republican Party. They are now flocking to Joe Biden. Now, looking on a hypothetical map, if you look in Florida, Joe Biden does a little bit worse with Latinos and a little bit worse with black voters. He could make the ground up by doing better with seniors. If he wins seniors by 2 percentage points, I'm pretty confident he's going to win the state. Because I also think he will get more than 75% of the black vote. So they're underestimating Joe Biden's support with the black vote, and they're showing very good numbers for him with the senior vote. And so at that point, Joe Biden only needs one of those Rust Belt states, which I, at least for now, project him to get all three of those, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. Plus, you add Arizona into the equation. If you look at the 2016 exit polls in Arizona, we can see that Arizona has 65 and older voters making up 25% of the electorate. That is 9% more than the national average. So old voters make a big and key difference, especially in a lot of these Sun Belt states that people move to. They move for example, they move from states like New York down to Florida, New York to Arizona, these other northeastern states. They move down south when they retire, and many of them vote Republican. Historically, that's the way it's been, but now they are becoming more favorable to the Democrats. So at this point, you can fill Maine 2nd District for the Republicans and Trump. You can fill it in for Georgia and North Carolina too. It doesn't even matter. You could even, give Trump Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, and Donald Trump still loses the election to Joe Biden because of the states of Arizona and Florida. And if we want to look, at the old voters in a state like Michigan, for example, we can see in Michigan, old voters only make up 19% of the electorate, which is 3% more than the national average. In the state of Wisconsin, senior voters make up 20%, which again is not that much more compared to the national average. It is more, but not as much compared to Florida and Arizona. And then we finally look at the state of Pennsylvania here, and we look at senior voters. It is 21%. So similar numbers to Florida, but still lower than both Arizona and Florida. So if Joe Biden gains with senior voters, which he seems to be doing right now, that can outnumber the fact that he may do, say 10% worse amongst Latino voters, maybe 5% worse amongst black voters, especially since black voters make up 12% of the national electorate. Latino voters make up around 11 to 12% as well, but senior voters nationally make up 16%, but in Florida they make up, 20%, 20-something percent. Arizona, they make up 25%. So Joe Biden gaining with senior voters really does help him electorally. It helps him especially in these Sun Belt states. That's why I do think that Joe Biden underperforming with Hispanics doesn't necessarily matter too much. I mean, you'd want to get as many votes as you can with any group, but Joe Biden can make up for a lot of the disadvantages that he has with minority voters and the shortcomings he's had with minority voters if he is gaining with senior voters. Now, we'll see how this all turns out, but, speaking purely from a political standpoint, if the coronavirus continues to stagnate or starts to rise again, along with the terrible death toll that is still, ranging from, 500 to 700 to 1,000 a day, if that continues, it's very bad for the country in terms of the number of deaths, and it's also very bad for Donald Trump and his chances for re-election, which are already looking pretty grim. and I will continue to update on that election. I think that is, I don't want to say it's sealed, but I think it's almost close to sealed. I think Donald Trump is not going to win this election. I think Joe Biden is going to win this election, becoming the 46th president of the United States. So thank you all for watching this video. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also join the Discord that is linked down in the description, and check out the website, which is also linked down in the description. So again, guys, thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you guys later.